Have you ever pondered on the revolution that Satoshi Nakamoto initiated with the invention of Bitcoin? Well, let's pull back the curtain on the genesis of Bitcoin and shine a light on the makings of this digital currency revolution. The year was 2008. The world was in the throes of a financial crisis. Banks were failing, economies were crumbling, and the trust in financial institutions was at an all-time low. It was during these turbulent times that a person, or perhaps a group of people, under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, introduced Bitcoin to the world. Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This 9-page document outlined the theoretical framework for a decentralized digital currency, a currency that wouldn't require a trusted third party like a bank or a government to function. Bitcoin was conceived as a response, a form of rebellion even, against the traditional financial system. It was a call to arms for a new financial order, one that was not controlled or manipulated by governments or financial institutions. It was an idea that was as radical as it was ingenious. The aim of Bitcoin was to create a decentralized currency, a currency that was free from governmental control, free from the whims and fancies of central banks and their monetary policies. It sought to create a system where transactions could be made directly between parties, without the need for a trusted middleman. This idea of a decentralized currency was not entirely new. There had been attempts in the past to create digital currencies, but they had all failed, primarily due to issues related to trust and security. But Nakamoto's Bitcoin was different. It solved these issues through the use of cryptographic proof and a public ledger called the blockchain, concepts that we will delve into in the next scenes. So, here we are, standing on the precipice of a new financial order, a world where the idea of money and how it is controlled has been challenged and redefined by Bitcoin. With that backdrop, let's delve into the world of the Bitcoin white paper. The Bitcoin white paper starts with a bang, introducing a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. Just imagine a world where transactions are as simple as handing over a note or a coin without the need for banks, credit card companies, or intermediaries. This is the audacious vision outlined in the Bitcoin white paper. It's a world where transactions happen directly from one individual to another, free from the clutches of traditional financial systems. The genius of this peer-to-peer system is its simplicity. It's as if you and I were standing face to face and I handed you a dollar bill. There's no bank in the middle, no fees, no waiting for the transaction to clear. It's just you, me, and the exchange of value. But in our digital world, how does this work? How can we ensure that this digital dollar bill isn't duplicated or falsified? This is where the Bitcoin protocol comes into play. It uses a public ledger known as the blockchain to record transactions. This ledger is transparent and accessible to anyone. It's like having a giant public book of transactions that anyone can verify but no one can alter. The blockchain ensures that each Bitcoin is unique and cannot be duplicated. When a transaction occurs, it's broadcasted to the network, validated by other nodes, and then added to the blockchain. This ensures the integrity and security of the transactions. The process is also anonymous. While the transaction is public, the identities of the parties involved are not. This means that you can transact with anyone, anywhere in the world, without having to reveal your identity. What's more, this peer-to-peer system is not limited to just financial transactions. It can be used for any exchange of digital goods or services. It's a revolutionary concept that has the potential to disrupt not just the financial industry, but any industry that relies on intermediaries. This was the first step in Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of a decentralized currency. Next, Satoshi introduces the concept of a timestamp server and proof of work. Let's delve into these two key concepts. The timestamp server is like a notary for Bitcoin transactions. It records the sequence of transactions in a way that's tamper-proof, ensuring that once a transaction is made, it's set in stone. The server takes a hash, or a unique digital fingerprint, of a block of items, which includes the timestamp and the previous block's hash. This creates a continuous chain where each block strengthens the security of the ones before it. Now imagine trying to alter a transaction. You'd need to change the block it's in, which alters the hash. But that change also affects every subsequent block because they all contain the hash of the previous block. So, To successfully tamper with a transaction, you'd need to alter every single block in the chain after it. Not only is this virtually impossible, it also becomes increasingly difficult as more blocks are added. This leads us to the proof-of-work system, the second piece of the puzzle. Proof-of-work is like a gatekeeper, preventing double spending and ensuring the security of Bitcoin transactions. It requires miners, those who validate and record transactions, to solve complex mathematical problems. The first miner to solve the problem gets to add a new block to the blockchain, and in return, they earn a reward in Bitcoins. This process is intentionally resource-intensive and time-consuming, discouraging any potential fraudulent attempts. So, why is proof-of-work so crucial? Well, it creates a system where changing even a single block requires enormous computational power and time. So the cost of attempting fraud is so high that it outweighs any potential gain. Together, the timestamp server and proof-of-work system create a fortress of security around Bitcoin transactions. They ensure that once a transaction is added to the blockchain, it's practically irreversible. This robust system deters fraudsters and maintains the trust and integrity of Bitcoin. These two systems form the backbone of Bitcoin's security and reliability. The Bitcoin network and the incentive system are the next topics Nakamoto delves into. The decentralized nature of the Bitcoin network is one of its defining characteristics. Unlike traditional banking systems where a central authority holds power, Bitcoin is run by a network of computers, known as nodes, spread across the globe. These nodes all work together, each one holding a complete copy of the Bitcoin ledger known as the blockchain. This decentralized setup contributes significantly to the security of the system. Since there's no single point of failure, it becomes virtually impossible for attackers to bring down the network or manipulate transaction data. Every node in the network verifies and maintains the blockchain's integrity, ensuring that all transactions are valid and that double spending is prevented. Now, running these nodes requires resources, time, energy, and computing power. So, why would anyone choose to support the network? This is where the brilliance of Nakamoto's incentive system comes into play. To encourage participation, Nakamoto introduced a reward system. Nodes, or more specifically, the miners among them, compete to solve complex mathematical problems. The first one to solve the problem gets to add a new block of transactions to the blockchain. As a reward for this work, they are granted a certain number of Bitcoins. This process is known as mining, but the incentive doesn't stop there. In addition to the mining reward, miners also receive transaction fees from the transactions included in their block. As the number of Bitcoins that can be mined decreases over time, these transaction fees will become increasingly important, ensuring that miners continue to support the network, even when all 21 million Bitcoins have been mined. The beauty of this system is that it aligns the interests of individual nodes with the overall health and security of the network. By rewarding participants with Bitcoins, Nakamoto has created a self-sustaining system that encourages continued operation and security. This incentive system ensures the continued operation and security of the Bitcoin network. Nakamoto also addresses the issues of reclaiming disk space and simplified payment verification. Now let's dive into how this works. In the world of Bitcoin, every transaction doesn't need to be stored forever. After all, we're not interested in the journey, just the destination. So, Nakamoto proposed a method to compress the data. Transactions could be hashed in a Merkle tree, leaving only a small amount of data to be stored in the blockchain. This clever system allows for the reclaiming of disk space, making Bitcoin more efficient. But what about verifying transactions? Enter Simplified Payment Verification, or SPV. SPV allows lightweight client applications to verify transactions without having to download the entire blockchain. They only need the block headers of the longest proof-of-work chain. This means you can transact in Bitcoin using your mobile device without needing massive storage capabilities. These solutions make Bitcoin a practical and accessible system for users. In conclusion, Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper laid the foundation for a financial revolution. It introduced us to Bitcoin, a decentralized peer-to-peer electronic cash system that operates without the need for a trusted third party. It's a system where transactions are verified by network nodes through cryptography, recorded in a public distributed ledger called a blockchain. What started as an idea in the Bitcoin white paper has now sparked a global phenomenon, inspiring the creation of thousands of other cryptocurrencies. It has challenged traditional financial systems, questioning the need for central banks and intermediaries. It's a revolution that has made us reconsider what we know about currency, prompting us to imagine a world where financial transactions are transparent, secure, fast, and accessible to anyone with an internet connection. The impact of Bitcoin is far-reaching. Its influence still felt today as it continues to evolve and adapt. Satoshi Nakamoto's vision, as outlined in the Bitcoin white paper, continues to reshape our understanding of currency and financial systems.